In a tiny apartment in Southern California, two college dropouts teamed up to start a watch brand that broke all the rules. With clean, innovative designs, unexpected colors, and unbeatable value, Movement became the fastest-growing watch brand in the world. Every bold, modern design is dreamed up at Movement's California headquarters. And now everything is on sale for their 9th birthday celebration. You can save big with 25% discounts on watches, jewelry, sunnies, blue light eyewear, and more lifestyle essentials. And for the first time this year, Movement's best-selling, innovatively made ceramic watches are on sale too. Elevate your own look or give someone an amazing gift that won't break the bank, but looks like it did. There's never been a better time to join the movement. Get the best prices of the year with Movement's site-wide 25% off anniversary sale and enjoy free shipping, free returns, and a 2-year guarantee on everything they make. Just go to mvmt.com. That's mvmt.com.
Stand by. The vacuum tubes are warming up. This is a special live broadcast right here on Georgia Radio.
Well, Brother Wade, how you doing? You there? Well, hang on a minute. It helps if I mash the right button.
Yes.
Go ahead and say what you were probably already saying. Now that everybody can hear you.
I'm fine, and I want to welcome everybody to Georgia Spoken Farm Life radio show here on Georgia Radio.
Yeah, you sound a little different tonight because we had a thunderstorm that just came through here, and it knocked everything offline. So we're doing the best we can do, and you're on the phone.
We're winging it with backup equipment.
Yeah, we're winging it just as best we can tonight to get
we're back up with winging equipment.
Yeah. But we wanted to get the Meeks Brothers show on. I mean, they do such a great job of keeping everything going around here that we're
not going to listen. Rain or snow or gloom of night will stay as these Meeks Brothers cattle companies from their appointed rounds. They're out there making beef right now.
Yeah, they sure are.
No matter how the weather.
That's right.
Beef.
Whether they want to be or not, they're making beef.
Whether they want to be or not, they're making beef right now.
That's right. I got James Gregory on tomorrow, and I was talking to him earlier today about some stuff, and he said, I asked him, I said, do you ever, you know James Gregory, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Funniest man in America, right? And
he
I said,
great guy. Great.
I asked him, I said, do you use self-checkout counters? And he thought about it for a minute. You have to hear his answer tomorrow on the radio show. You'll just have to hear it. But I got to thinking about it, and I thought, if there were ever two people to film using the self-checkout counter, it would be James Gregory and Wade Peebles together.
Yeah.
That would be fun. That would just be worth watching the two of you go through a grocery store together. And
it would be as good as an old Martin and Lewis routine, or yeah.
I'm telling you. I've laughed.
What was the fat guy and the skinny one?
Laurel and Hardy.
Laurel and Hardy. He was from Harlem, Georgia, yeah.
Did you know that? I did. I was driving down some back road the other day, and I saw the Laurel and Hardy Museum, and I thought, well, how about that? Yes. And that was really neat. No, but I've been laughing all day about the two of you going through the store. trying to find rutabagas on that self-checkout machine.
And get out of the store without getting locked up or slapped or no slappings or law enforcement.
Oh my goodness! Well, he's playing up in Macon. I get Friday the 21st. He's playing in Macon, and then he's over in Augusta. Yeah, he's over in Augusta the next night. So you'll be even closer. You could take
Saturday?
The log truck. Yeah.
Saturday. I could drive up there to the James Brown. Is it the James Brown Arena? Is it the Bell Auditorium? Where is he?
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, that's not a good.
Listen, if I had internet right now, I could tell you.
It was a multiple choice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody should.
I
hope they, like you say, as you pointed out at the beginning, the show is not the usual show because we don't have Skype on my computer. I've got on my real truck driver headset and talking to you and listening to you.
We've got the can and the string.
Is eating supper. Yeah, he's eating his supper. I fed him so that he would be quiet, but that's no guarantee.
Well, and we thought we had two strikes against us today because we were going to have Mr. Bacon on.
Yes, we were going to have Cedric Bacon on, and he with our series on photographers, and he's a great photographer from Statesboro. But Cedric was a little under the weather. He wasn't feeling it, so we rescheduled him for another night. And then it just we were going to do the show without a guest tonight, which is we have good shows without guests. We have good shows with guests. But then Mother Nature intervened, and
I'm telling you what, we had a gully washer here, and
really, it just rained a light rain here.
Oh, it blew out everything around here. I mean, lights and light bulbs. We must have had a big lightning strike near the farm or something, but yeah, everything is down at the moment. But that's all right. We're going to keep it going and have a good time tonight. Listen, there's been so much going on right now on Georgia Folk and Farm Life. People have been writing in and have been sharing things that just continue to blow my mind away. What have you read lately that has you sort of sitting back in your rocking chair going, Because there's been a bunch.
Things on gardening and farming, but I haven't had anything this week that just really shocked it to me, as you say on, you remember that phrase from last year? Not that old.
Yeah. You haven't had anything. Well, so here's what got me.
Some of the prayer. Listen, I'm gonna say something very quick. Some of the prayer requests are funny to me. I know that sounds terrible, but I don't mean it. People pray for a lot of things on Georgia Folk and Farm Life.
Yeah,
from vegetables to dogs and things. So yeah,
vegetables. Well, the one that got me this week, there's a great piece that came up on lightning rods. And I'm going to have to go back and find it and share it on.
I didn't see that. Now, I've written about lightning rods, but I didn't see that one.
No, this one was from I want to say the lady's name was Sue Baker, who wrote a story about lightning rods growing up. And I won't give the ending away, but anyway, she was there. There was a big storm that came up, and there've been a lot of pop-up thunderstorms the last few weeks.
Yeah, Randy Olive, he called me the other day. He had a tree hit. And I went over there and I posted that on there. And that generated a lot of comment and interest about the fact that some trees can get struck and survive and some don't. And Bubba Morgan, I think it was, pointed out that it's according to whether some lightning strikes go from the ground up, some come from the clouds down.
Yeah.
They're different polarity, positive or negative. So it has to do with the intensity, the nature of the charge, whether it was from the ground up or cloud to ground or ground to cloud, and its polarity, negative, positive. Those factors. And I'm not an electrician, and so I was listening to the Jack Benny show on the Road Radio Classic show the other night, and listening to Rochester talking about lightning, and I thought, Rochester, that sounds know about as much about lightning as I do, and electricity. So.
Well, her grandfather was very concerned about lightning, and this would have been back in the 1920s or 30s, and so he went around and put lightning rods because the lightning rod guy came around and sold him some lightning rods, and he bought some. But he insisted on putting one on the outhouse, and she said that when she asked him about it, he said he'd rather be scared than dead. And so the story ends with him being very scared. So I'll leave it at that.
Story.
Yes, now, it's a barn burner. So you'll have to.
Another good lightning and storm story. My great uncle Ernest Townsend, he's gone. That's my grandmother's brother. And he was born around 1900 somewhere then, or in the 1890s, I suppose. Yeah, in the 1890s. And he told of going to spend the weekend when he was a boy with a friend of his, a young man. They were about the same age. They were teenagers over near Norristown. They spent the night at their house, and they had a regular old farmhouse. That year it was a good stout, sturdy farmhouse. But the old man, the patriarch of the family, was a bit of a nutcase. And any time there came up a storm, instead of gathering the family in the house, they would all have to gather in the smokehouse. Now, most of our listeners understand that smokehouses in Georgia were not. They were like a chicken coop. They were poorly built. They had a dirt floor and a wood shingle or metal roof, and they weren't built. They were built to let smoke out and smoke meat in. Just keep the varmints safe. And so you wouldn't think that anybody would want to take refuge in a storm in a smokehouse. You'd stay in the house. But this old man, that was one of his peculiarities, and they were very religious, very pious, but unusual family. They was a large family. And Uncle Ernest told of going there and being there that day when this tremendous electrical storm. Terrible thunderstorm came up, and the wind blew and lightning popped, and it was raining and hail was falling. And the old man hollered up everybody, and he went out to the old smokehouse and yelled and hollered for all the family and the children to come out there. And one by one, they came from different places in the house or out on the farm, and they were in good safe places, but they had to weather the horror of the storm to get to the smokehouse, and there wasn't a latch on the door. It just had a hole drilled in it, like a lot of old smokehouses. It had a hole, a chain dropped through it, and but there was no chain on the door that time, just a hole. And the old man was in there, and he had a bony finger stuck out. He was holding the door shut the best he could with a bony finger, right? So you can picture this. And Uncle Ernest refused to join them, and he got on the back porch and watched all this from the house. And the old man had just give up trying to holler Uncle Ernest in to join them. They had one teenage girl, and she was late to the event. She came from somewhere, and hail, like I say, was falling, big hail, and lightning was popping all around. And the teenage girl got just between where Uncle Ernest was and the quote safety of where her daddy and the family was in the smokehouse. And lightning hit a chinaberry tree there right beside her. And she dropped to her knees and put her hands in the air with the rain falling and the hail falling and said, "Speak sweetly to me, sweet."
Live life at your pace. Click the banner or go to visitwilliamsburg.com to discover how. Because here in Williamsburg, life moves at one pace, yours. Scramble through our world-class golf courses or shop your way through the square. Be one with nature as you hike or bike through our parks and trails or hunker down at one of our breweries. And when it's time to eat, be sure to bite into our eclectic food scene. It's all waiting for you in Williamsburg. Book your trip today and live life at your pace.
Everyone knows about the speed of sound, but have you ever thought about the sounds of speeding? Drive too fast and you could hear the sound of your vehicle crashing, because one way or another, speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Jesus. And Uncle Ernest got tickled. And about the time that the old man pushed the door open to let her in with that old finger stuck through that hole, hailstone hit him on the knuckle, and he took the Lord's name in vain right there in front of God and everybody.
Oh, gosh. And did they survive the great hailstorm?
They survived, and Uncle Ernest said when it was all over, they were kind of peeved. They were embarrassed and peeved at him, and so he walked on back to his house, and that was the end of it. With his buddy there. But I could always picture that
old bony finger
family.
through the door.
Yeah, bony finger, and the old man, he was praying continuously. I left that. He was spouting prayers and scripture the whole time, and then wound up with when the hailstone hit him on the knuckle. He reversed course there and said something ugly. Okay,
we got to take a quick break. We'll come back here for a few more minutes of this fun. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Wade Peoples from Georgia Folk and Farm Life Radio. I'm here to tell you about Meeks Brothers Cattle Company, and you don't have to worry about supply chain issues or where your beef comes from. Do what I do and call Meeks Brothers Cattle Company today. You can get a whole, half, a quarter, any amount of beef you want. Good quality beef, vacuum packed, lasts up to 3 years in your freezer. It's grass-fed, grain-finished, made to order. Visit Meeks Brothers Cattle Company on Facebook today and tell them Brother Wade sent you. And that's Meeks Brothers Cattle Company. Thank you.
Georgia Radio, on your phone, in your home, everywhere you go.
All right, you back? I hear you.
I am. I'm here.
Snuffing and snorting and
yeah. Well,
whatever you got to do.
I took a nap and I'm ahead.
Yeah. Well, it happens.
As my daddy used to say, I'm all chewed up.
Yeah. Well, it's that time of year, where we got these thunder boomers coming along, and
yeah. And I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a boy there at Hillcrest Church in Swainsboro, Governor Lester Maddox, he was the governor then. And he was scheduled to speak at our church on a Sunday morning, and there was great excitement that, the somewhat controversial back then governor was coming to speak at our little church there in Swainsboro. And on two or three different occasions, and each time it was canceled because the skies were overcast and they couldn't fly in overcast weather. I don't know. Now, some people know enough about flying, and you're a pilot, and I'm not. But I know that there's instrument flying where you can fly, but then there's just flying by looking out the window, basically, right?
Yeah. And
at that time, Georgia, their official governor's plane and pilot were unable to fly by instruments. And it wasn't stormy weather; it was just overcast. There were clouds, no bad weather, but they would not fly when it was cloudy. And so they had to postpone that. And I've thought about that. And then flying, if you get out flying on a nice afternoon like this, and you never know when a thunderstorm is going to pop up. Have you ever encountered that where you had to fly around weather? Have you ever gotten a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
My daddy used to say a little jubilous about it.
A little jubilous about it, yes.
A little dubious. That's the way Daddy would say dubious.
My guess on Governor Maddox is that his plane was probably equipped and his pilot was probably equipped. My guess is the airport was not equipped for him to land there.
We had an omnidirectional signal at Swainsboro at the time.
Yeah, but that doesn't help that doesn't help if you're trying to land and punch through clouds and all that kind of stuff. That's my guess is that back then they didn't have a way to do it.
I just picture having an old DC-3 and a pilot that
they probably did, but he'd survived the war too. He wasn't going to go burn a hole in the ground after, trying to get some politician to a church. That's my guess. But I've had an incident.
Today, would you think that the governor could land if it
yes, absolutely. Yeah. Today there's different, there's GPS approaches and all this kind of stuff. Very, very safe today to do that. If your airplane and the pilot is equipped, extremely safe. But back then they didn't have that technology. It wasn't around. You had to have sophisticated landing equipment actually on the ground at the airport that had to be routinely calibrated for that to happen. And back, or a controller that could read out the radar scope as the airplane was descending. They'd say, okay, take it up a notch, bring it down. Okay, now you're right on. You're right on the. Yeah, so that's my guess. They didn't have any of that.
We had no fellow that walk out there and hold his hand over his eyes to shade his eyes and watch them coming in and let them know if they made it or not.
The goat man would come down there and sit down there.
Well, y'all made it. And, of course, they would know already without being told by the old timers that into the sun. So
I went 150 miles out of my way one time. I was flying from here at Gum Creek out to California. And I thought, well, in the grand scheme of things, going to California, 150 miles out of your way, I wound up at some crop duster strip down in South Louisiana. And I've never sweated so bad in my life.
Wow.
Wade, I thought I had landed in hell. It was in July, and it was so dadgum hot.
As if hell no, it's Louisiana.
Oh, my gosh.
From Louisiana, yeah.
It was just misery. I mean, absolute misery. And I'm from South Texas where I'm used to heat and humidity, but I'm telling you, this was like the third layer of hell. It was so hot. And the fuel pump, after I shut down, I realized that the gas pump was up under a tree. And that was great, but it was up a hill. And so I had to push the old airplane, up there, this beat up old airplane I was flying around the country back then, the 1950s airplane. I had to push it up the hill. And these old timers sat there on the porch and watched because it was so dadgum hot. They weren't going to help. I got it all fueled up and got out of there. But I mean to tell you, that was the hottest place I've ever been to in my life. So yeah, I've done that before. And it's no fun, but you're never bigger than the weather.
But a thunderstorm is beautiful from the air, isn't it?
Well, I don't like to get too close to them, but yeah.
But I mean from a distance.
From a distance, yeah. Now, I remember talking to old timers.
I've known women like that were, they were beautiful, but you need to keep the distance,
can, again, send your hate mail to P.O. Box.
I don't mean they were ugly, but I'm saying they were beautiful, but it's best that you admired them from afar.
I get it.
Because they were like a thunderstorm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I knew old timers, though, that talked about flying in the early days of instruments. And I don't know if you can hear the thunder rolling right now, but they said if you ever got in there, you flew toward the light. And wherever it was light, that's where you went. And eventually you'd wind up on the other side. And I thought, God, you've got to be brave enough to try that at some point.
Yeah.
But that's, anyway, that's what they would say. I just choose to go 150 miles out of my way and avoid it at all cost. That's yeah. I mean,
it takes a certain amount of bravery to fly, to be a pilot.
I don't know.
It does. Most of us aren't pilots now. I know a few. I have a friend that's taking flying lessons and becoming a pilot. I think he's already finished. It's been a while since I had talked to him the last few weeks, but I've always admired. My neighbor growing up had an airplane and flew, and it was. I really respect people that can do that, take control of an airplane, and have the guts to taking off and flying is one thing, but landing, rejoining Earth,
rejoining the Earth, the mystery,
rejoining to Earth successfly,
gently and kindly.
You're coming down one way or the other.
We haven't left one up there yet, that's for sure.
No, there's not. Definitely, I'm sure that's kind of a running gag among pilots, But yeah, that amazes me, and the fact that thunderstorms pop up so easily.
Yeah. But they're coming. I mean, it's pretty easy to tell if there's going to be convective activity or thunderstorms and that kind of stuff. But yeah, you're just never bigger than the weather. And on the days where you've got them,
plane and I'd go out in the wintertime, freezing cold days, just flying around. I don't have to worry about weather.
Yeah. Well, and in the summertime, it's not bad.
I have run up with one snow thunderstorm once, but that was in Michigan.
Michigan,
so I don't think we have that around here.
We don't have thunder snow down here.
We don't have thunder, but have you ever seen thunder snow?
Yeah. First time I saw it, it just amazed me.
It is an amazing, beautiful thing.
Like that lightning strike on Miss Sue Ellen's grandfather's outhouse. It scared me the first time I saw it.
I can imagine he was the only person ever in Georgia to have a lightning rod on his
lightning rod on an outhouse, and apparently
I like that.
Apparently he needed it that one night. So there you go. Listen, Are we going to do this again next week? Yes, we're going to do it again next week, and we're going to have more time, and we're going to have everything up and running.
Tonight was a special show. It was a good show. We just it's me and you talking. And I hope everybody's enjoyed. Are we coming to the end here?
Yeah, we're at the end. We are at the end. We got to duck out.
We're at the end.
We got to duck out.
Well, thanks. Listen, everybody, I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. And we love y'all. We appreciate you. Appreciate Georgia Radio with Matt, my friend here. He's making it possible. And thank you for tuning in and listening. Listen on the podcast to Georgia Focus Farm Life Radio on GeorgiaRadio.com.
See y'all next week. Thanks, everybody.
Georgia Radio, on your phone, in your home, everywhere you go.
At Jiffy Lube, it's our job to make car care make sense. With personalized service reviews that swap the car talk for straight talk, so you know what your car is telling you and what to do about it. Putting you in the driver's seat of car care? That's a job for Jiffy.